depth about what we're going to go into in this upcoming weekend in terms of our heat wave breaking on out. Now, temperatures today did climb into the low 90s in a lot of areas. It's been that hot before. The thing is, it's just going to get hotter from here on out. Tomorrow and into Sunday, I think Sunday will be the hottest. And when you factor in dew points as well, we'll have those heat index values well over 100, in fact, pushing heat advisory criteria both tomorrow and again on Sunday. So we have declared a weather alert day for tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday as this heat wave kind of takes hold of the area. So what's the weather impact? Well, this high heat, high humidity will impact your everyday life if you're not practicing heat precautions, staying hydrated, wearing light, loose-fitting clothing, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, seeking shade, taking frequent breaks, going into air conditioning as often as possible, and trying to stay indoors at times of peak heating, which is early to mid-afternoon, when those temperatures will be the hottest. A heat advisory is active tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m., lasting until 8 p.m. So here's what's going on. The feels like temperature, as I mentioned, getting up to around 105. That is the threshold to get a heat advisory. It has to be that way for 3 consecutive hours. Weather Service does think in the areas that are under the heat advisory for tomorrow, that will be likely. On top of that, actual air temperatures, especially on Sunday, will be near record highs. The record on Sunday is 99. We're forecasting a high of 97. So it'll be awfully close. And with a southwest wind kicking on in, that could be a little bit breezy. A lot of times those help us to overperform in terms of the forecast high. So we could certainly make a run at that record high on Sunday. And it's just a continuation pattern here. We're kind of building off of each day. We were hot today, hotter tomorrow, even hotter in a Sunday, and kind of a little bit less hot in the day on Monday. So here's a look at the maps. Heat advisory up for all the areas shaded in yellow. It's only for our Virginia cities and counties, however, excluding the Eastern Shore. No northeastern North Carolina counties in this particular heat advisory for Saturday from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. Doesn't mean it won't be hot there. It certainly will be, and certainly dangerously hot if you're outside for a prolonged period of time. Just these areas that are under the heat advisory are most likely to hit that criteria of 105 for the feels like temperature. All right, let's go through it tomorrow from the advisory onset, which is at 11 a.m. all the way until 8 p.m. in terms of what the heat index may look like when we're looking at the maps tomorrow in real time. So at 11 a.m. already, we're pushing the envelope here, upper 90s to around 100 is what it will feel like already. So it's going to be a hot morning tomorrow, just getting hotter from there. Notice numbers climbing a little bit, 101, 102, 103. I think localized areas will hit that criteria of 105. Most people probably won't get that hot in terms of that criteria of 105, but certainly still hot regardless. You know, we're just kind of threading the needle here. And even by 8 p.m., it's still feeling like triple digits in places like Norfolk, Newport News, over to Ahoskie. So a very hot day on Saturday. Now look at the trend here, temperature-wise, compared with the heat index. So on the bottom, you'll see the forecast highs, and above that, where the models think the heat index will top out at, where its peak will be. So for tomorrow, this is for Norfolk, by the way, 95 for the forecast high, with the model saying we'll get to around 100 is what it will feel like. Once the sea breeze kicks on in coastal areas, it won't feel as bad in the afternoon. So those areas will be hottest right up to around lunchtime. Sea breeze kicks on in, things will feel a little bit better. However, you don't get that farther inland, so you'll likely see that spike with the heat index a little bit higher. Sunday, 97. The record at Norfolk is 99, so it'll be a close call. Feels like temperature on Sunday. I guarantee you we will have heat advisories up for 2 days in a row and encompassing probably the entire area for Sunday as that forecast heat index up to 105. Monday, air temperatures come down a little bit, and a lot of that will be influenced by a backdoor cold front that'll come in from the north. This will kick up a few more clouds, shift our wind direction. And with the lifting mechanism of that front in such a hot, humid air mass, we'll likely see a few downpours and thunderstorms developing with it, which is great news. We're going to talk a little bit about how much we could use the rain. So that would be our next chance, and that would also help keep temperatures a little bit lower. But with the higher humidity, notice the stretch from the air temperature to the heat index is 8-degree difference. So it's going to be a pretty hot, humid day on Monday as well. We get a little break air temperature-wise on Tuesday, upper 80s to around 90 for afternoon highs. And then Wednesday, we kick right back up, mid-90s for air temperatures, heat indices back up to the 103, 105 threshold. Let's look at the standing records. Again, this is for Norfolk. The record that will be the closest call will be on Sunday, 99, back in 2015. The record also tomorrow is 99, set back in 2015 as well. It was a hot year, hot June in 2015. So those may be challenged a little bit. Getting into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those records are all in the triple digits. Those will all likely stay safe, although Wednesday we could start to see that overperformance again, getting temperatures a little bit higher. So here's a rundown of your weekend overall. 95 is the forecast on Saturday and 97 on Sunday. Take note of the rain chances. I got a 10% chance in there on Saturday. Tomorrow, when you get this hot, humid air mass, you can just get some air mass thunderstorms that bubble on up if they find some weak points and they can validate. That's the only chance there, 10%. 20% on Sunday, again, similar. We'll watch that backdoor cold front maybe get in here late Sunday night into early Monday. We'll see. Fingers crossed we get a little bit of rain. So let's now jump into Sunday and go through the heat index forecast, just like we did for Saturday. Likely the heat advisory will be issued again from 11 to 8, so we'll start at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. Similar to what we saw for heat index-wise for Saturday morning. In the upper 90s, already feeling like 100 before the lunch hour. Notice numbers bump up a little bit. We're looking at 104, 105 in many more locations. It's not as isolated as it will be on Saturday. A little more widespread of achieving that heat advisory threshold of 105. And still by 8 o'clock, we're cooking. Mid to upper 90s to around 100 is what it will feel like as we approach sunset. All right, current temperatures. Still warm out there. It's 9 o'clock, and sun has set, and we're still in the upper 70s and low 80s. Notice the water temperature there, 77. That number has been creeping upwards quickly. And if you are going to the beach this weekend, it's going to be a great beach weekend. We're going to talk about some threats in regard to that as well, with a system that's well to our south that's kicking up some rip current risks, especially down through the Outer Banks. It's 80 now at Portsmouth, 81 at Williamsburg, 77 Virginia Beach, 81 out at Gatesville here at 9:08 on our Friday evening. Highs today did top out at 90, 91, Suffolk, 92, Wakefield, 87 at Virginia Beach. So normal is 87. The last 3 or 4 days, we literally hit the nail on the head with where we should be normally for the middle parts of June. Now we're starting to tick upwards, and come Sunday, we'll be about 10 degrees above that normal high of 87. Notice the record, 98 today, 1933. We're nowhere close to that. That stayed safe. Radar, quiet as it has been for a while. We could use some action on there in terms of rainfall, but not seeing much. I do want to draw your attention to what's been going on well to our south. And notice in the first few frames here, we're kind of losing the visibility of it as the sun has set. A little bit of a spin. This is Invest 92L. If you recall, Invest means investigative area. 92 is just a number. It's a locator number, 90 to 99. So we rotate and recycle through those. And the L signifies it's in the Atlantic Basin. So this has been churning. It started at a 20% chance of tropical development 3 days ago, inched all the way up to 50% odds earlier this morning. And it was trying to get its act together. It was moving over the Gulf Stream. So a river of very warm water streaming up along the east coast of Florida. So it had the ample energy. It just ran out of ocean to really get its act together. If this was maybe 200 miles farther to the east as it was getting its act together, it probably would have developed in a barrel. But it just ran out of water, and so now it's making landfall. Looks to be somewhere north of Jacksonville, right along Brunswick, Georgia there. You can see that spin just about to move over land and cross into Georgia. There's some squalls with this, maybe some breezy conditions. I mean, it's not very robust. It's very weak. However, the outer rain bands from this did stretch all the way to the north and brought a few isolated showers to the southern Outer Banks today. But notice as it tries to lift north, it's kind of running into a wall, and that wall is our ridge of high pressure. That's keeping things dry and will help us heat up more efficiently over the next couple days, kind of suppressing everything to the south, at least for now. So if you are heading to the beach, in regard to that system that's making landfall, that's moving over land, I should say, landfall is not an accurate word for that, but it is kicking up some rough surf, and also a rip current risk is pretty much up and down the southeast coast. So moderate rip current risk here locally tomorrow. UV index is also very high. We'll talk about that in a second. You saw water temperatures and air temperatures right at the beach, nearly 90 degrees, so even hot there. UV forecast. So yesterday, first day of summer, summer solstice. Sun's at its highest point in the sky. Sun's angles are strongest. So we've seen a stretch of probably 5 days now where we've had the UV forecast max out its scale up to 11. Burn time is in 10 minutes if you're not properly protected. So it's up to an extreme level again for our Saturday. Fine shade, limit time outside, sunscreen, of course, sunglasses. Just be smart about spending time outdoors with that high UV index and the high heat indices tomorrow. So it's kind of a double whammy, if you will, for tomorrow and again on Sunday. Now let's talk about rainfall. So here's a look at June's recorded rainfall. 5 days where we've had some sort of measurable rainfall fall at Norfolk International, most of which were just a couple hundredths of an inch. Overall, it adds up to under 0.8 of an inch. It's been very, very dry, as you know. Crunchy lawns, thirsty gardens out there. Is there any chance to add to this? There's some isolated chances this weekend. Best shot in the next 5 will come on Monday with the backdoor cold front, like I talked about, from the north. That should bring about enough lift that we see some downpours, some storms, bringing some heavy rain, but nothing that's widespread and that's going to be a prolonged soaker like we really need. The ground needs to soak up that heavy rain and disperse it. This heavy rainfall onto a parched ground is just going to run off. So we need a steady soaking rain, and that doesn't look to be coming anytime soon. This was an interesting development this week. I don't know if you caught it on air. We talked about this yesterday when it was released. We get drought monitor reports from the Climate Prediction Center once a week. Comes out on Thursdays. The data used to compile this report shuts off Tuesday mornings. So this is last week's report showing some abnormally dry conditions in the yellow shading, Eastern Shore, far southeast Virginia, and northeastern North Carolina. Fast forward a week. So again, this is up through Tuesday morning, this week's data coming out yesterday. The entire area is now abnormally dry. Even portion, I don't know if you can see, portions of the Eastern Shore, Accomack County, is now under moderate drought conditions. That's one heck of a jump in a week. So think about if we don't see much rain until Tuesday morning, we don't get very much. In fact, the entire area probably won't see rain. It's going to be some isolated spots. We'll likely see this jump to moderate drought conditions now. So in 2 weeks' time, we go from hardly any drought to moderate drought. This is what we call a rapid onset drought or a flash drought. And what brings it about are there are several symptoms. There's low soil moisture, and there's also a whole lot of evaporation and transpiration. So we're losing moisture from the ground and surfaces and plants through transpiration. They're giving off moisture into the air, and that dry air is just taking it away. It's sapping all the moisture out of plants and ground, and we're rapidly seeing a drought develop here. So this is going to be something to monitor, and we need some soaking rain, and I just don't see it coming anytime soon. Back over to the tropics now. 92L, what I just showed you, that's moving into Georgia. They still give a 40% chance, but it's not going to develop. It's going to be over land. Of course, tropical systems need to be over warm water, need to be over that fuel source. The land is not where you find that. It's not the only game in town, though. There's another wave. This one has actually come out of the far western Caribbean, moved over Belize and Guatemala and the Yucatan and Mexico, and is now in the southern Gulf of Mexico, the Bay of Campeche. Same area Alberto just developed out of. So we know it's a fertile, conducive environment for tropical development, and all we need is a seed. And we got the seed here with this tropical wave, and there are 50-50 odds on this developing into potentially our next named storm, which would be Beryl. Probably take a similar track to what Alberto did, heading into central Mexico, south of Brownsville, bringing more rain there. Again, nothing to worry about here locally. I want to wrap things up with the 7-day forecast. Let me go back here so you can see it. I didn't realize I was kind of cut off. But we have the weather alert days that are in effect for tomorrow afternoon, pretty much right when the heat advisory goes into effect, 11 a.m. through the rest of the day. Sunday, with it being so hot, 97. And then even into Monday as well, it's kind of a two-pronged threat for Monday is the heat and humidity. And then there is the slightest chance that some of the storms that do develop from the backdoor front, I mean, when you've got a volatile atmosphere, unstable atmosphere, and the heat and humidity we have, there could be a few storms that are on the stronger side. So weather alert day into Monday, too. Notice we get a little break Tuesday. I mean, a break, we're back down to 90, so similar to what we had today. And then 96 on Wednesday, and another front comes on through Thursday evening, and this could bring us another chance at a few storms and some needed rainfall. Right now, the odds, I think, on that is around 30%. So that's the latest for you. No big changes with a heat wave event. There's not going to be, a fast changing environment. Things are pretty much good to go with the heat coming in tomorrow. Just practice heat safety, stay hydrated, drink lots of water. If you're heading out to any of the area events going on, it's a big weekend. I mean, it's always a big weekend this time of the year with things going on outdoors. You've got the ocean front, tourists here. So just take care of yourself, take care of your family, and of course also take care of your pets. Do not walk them at peak heating times of the day. Those pavement temperatures, cement temperatures with air temperatures in the mid-90s can get up to like 130, 140. So you burn their pet pads, and that's causing some serious injuries. So that's the latest. That's all you're going to hear from me tonight. You can join us on air at 11 o'clock tonight. Dana Smith and I will have 13 News Now at 11 for you, and I'll bring any updates in regards to the forecast for that. But until then, stay cool this weekend, and we will bring you updates. Taylor Stephenson is in here tomorrow morning. Hunter Forrest is in tomorrow evening, and you'll see them again on Sunday. And I'll see you back here next week. Have a great weekend.